All right, welcome back to the shop. Let me show you what I just finished tonight. It's what they call a micro adjust for the router table fence. And when I was making these kitchen tongs, this groove in here, I was cutting on these boards. Okay, so I was running them up against the router bit. And I didn't want to hog out all the material at once, so I was just creeping up on it, just slowly taking a little bit, come back, adjust the fence, slowly take a little bit more. But I was kind of loosening the fence, bumping the fence. It was kind of a pain, and it didn't have a lot of uniformity or with each other, and it was hard to adjust. So I started doing a little bit of YouTubing and looking at stuff and thinking it through my head how I was going to do this. And nobody made a good micro adjust for the router table. They make them for the table saw fences, but mine already has that. So I just wanted something simple, and I started digging through my scrap bins and some of my parts bins and came up with this. Let me show you what I came up with. So basically my router table, my router fence is mounted in these slots in the router table with these bolts here. You just slip them in there, and then there's two sets of them, of grooves here, each side, depending on where you want to be. So you set your fence in there, and then I, again, went through my scrap bin and parts bin and found this off an old miter saw. It was a hold down clamp. And it had this metal backing plate without holes in it, so I drilled 2 holes in it, 1/4-inch holes, and put some toggle bolts or toilet bolts, flange bolts, in the slot back here. Lined everything up, drilled the 2 holes in that flange back there. Okay, and then I got that mounted, and this thing here, there's a stud that goes down, and it's 5/8 of an inch round, and it just fits in. So I drilled a hole with a Forstner bit, a 5/8 Forstner bit. Okay, so I drilled a hole, put the 2 pieces of plywood together, drilled a hole in there, cut a slot in the plywood with the router table, and then this thing here fastens it to my miter slot in the table saw. So it's off of a feather board, which I use all the time. I use this feather board all the time, and it comes with this. Let's see if I can do this with everything being tight. Loosen some of this stuff up, take this off. So that feather board had this piece here, and when you crank on that knob, it pulls that screw up and expands it into the slot. Okay, so that's the only one I had that was in decent shape. I have some plastic ones, but I didn't want to go plastic. So this piece here, I just kind of sacrificing it off of the feather board. Okay, but this piece here fits in there. Put the screw in there. Then as you tighten up the knob, it just tightens up, and then it won't move. Okay, so that locks it into the table saw. I can get this all put back together. Once that's locked together, lock your fence down with the 2 screws, 2 T-knobs, right? Lock them down, make your first cut, and then loosen this side, and then just barely, just crack this side a little bit, okay? I'll loosen this side. Tighten these back up. Tighten all this back up onto the fence. And then you can adjust this knob back or forward, whichever way you want to go, and move that fence in small increments, back or forth, you know what I mean? that was another design problem that I was running into, is how to have a bolt grab it and then be able to push it or to pull it away. So thankfully I found this in my parts bin. Anyway, as the phone rings, that's my micro adjust for my router table. The only thing I don't like is when you're doing this, if this thing is loose, it could change that a little bit. So that's something that I really don't know how to fix unless I put this whole system in the center of the fence. But then I might be blocking, you know what I mean? I'm going to be blocking the vacuum. I mean, it would work. I could slide this whole thing over and just do it right in the center, and then I think that would be more equal. But for right now, this is what I came up with, and it works great. So just a little micro adjuster. Right, and then I run out of room here. My knob starts hitting, but that's okay. It's just a micro adjuster, so I can move this whole thing in or out, whichever way I got to do it. So anyway, that was a project that I was working on this week. So hope you liked the video. Talk to you later.